and good evening, English learning with fun. Today's lesson is for active voice. What does it mean passive voice? مبني للمجهول. The first example here it's given: the government fights corruption. Government الحكومة fights تحارب corruption الفساد. Like it's shown here in this picture. The first thing you do أول حاجة نديروها. The government fights corruption. You have to look to the verb here. Fights. Here we have a verb. And the government is what? It's a subject. Corruption here, it's a direct object. Active voice. هذه جملة active. كيف عرفناها? We don't have by. But first of all, what does it mean by? It means عن طريق ولا من طرف. For example. حابين نحولوها لباسيف. We want to change it to passive voice. مبنية المجهول. The first thing we do, what do we do here? We start with the direct object. أول حاجة نديروها نبدلو. نبداو بالdirect object. Corruption. Then you have to look to the verb. Fights. دم كاينة أصل. What does it mean? It means this verb, it is conjugated in simple present. الزمن الحاضر الآن. Fights as the government نعوضوها it غير العاقل يعني بها زدنا أسهل. So what do we say? The corruption will bring verb to be. راح نجيبوا الفعل to be. أول حاجة نديروها the verb to be. To be. عندنا I am. You. We. The corruption. But look first. Corruption. ده نعوضوها it. We replace it by it. So what do we say here? It is. It is. The corruption is. The corruption is. Then the verb fight. لازم نشوفوا past participle of this verb. Participe passé. En français. We have regular verbs اللي هما يختصوا بإيدي. Regular verb منتظمين. وعندنا irregular verbs. We have a list. كاينة قائمة. في آخر الفيديو راح نحطوا هذه القائمة. Fights. It becomes fought. Of this verb. Fight, fought. نجيبوا هذا الباست participle ونحطه مباشرة بعد الفعل to be. نرجع للجملة تاعنا. Fought. Fought what? Fought by. مادام لقينا by معناتها it is passive. By. من طرف. By what? The government. The government. يعني تحويلات هنا. OD. It becomes subject. المفعول به يولي فاعل. Then. Verb fights لأنه مصرف في simple present. لحاضر. جبنا الverb to be in simple present. Then plus past participle of this verb. participe passé هذا الفعل. لأنه ما يتبعش القاعدة. حالة خاصة. So here we say fought. And by ما ننساوهاش. By the government. Subject يولي direct object. The next here what do we have? We have passive verb tenses. يعني الأزمنة اللي نصرفوهم كيف نحولوهم من active to passive. Tenses. We start the first one with simple present. Active. For example, my father drives. We add as لأنه مصرف معي. although he drives the car. السيارة. The first thing, the verb in simple present. نقلبوا أول حاجة. it becomes subject. المفعول يولي فاعل. The car. We bring verb to be in simple present في الحاضر. Is لأنه the car نعوضها ب it. يعني بيهدرنا is. The car is driven. هذا past participle تاع verb to drive. Driven by my father. My father. That's it. We move to simple past. simple past the same my father or he نعوضها معلش بهي he drove the car drove because it's in irregular verb نحولوها كيف the car we bring what verb to be in simple past verb to be in simple past verb to be in simple past was جمعة مع I he she it ما ننساش it I متكلم he هو she هي it لغير العاقل where with what with you we they معناتها you we they so here the car نعوضها ب it what do we say was what was driven نفسه past participle driven by when we change he the subject to a direct object it becomes him لما نعوضه he الفاعل المفعول به راح تتغير وتولي him by him الزمن الحاضر المستمر يعني حدث an action started in the present and still continues in progress صار في الحاضر وما زال مستمر continuous for example he is driving هذا هو present continuous verb to be plus verb ing drive نحينا ال e at the end it becomes ing he is driving the car we say the car we start with direct object the car نجيبوا الفعل to be ونصرفوه في present continuous verb to be هي I am being هذا هو تصريف I am being you we they are being he she it becomes is being this is verb to be in present continuous هذا تصريف الفعل to be في present continuous هنا مادام عندنا the car معوضينها ب it what do we say is being when social participle of the verb to drive يعني هو driven is being driven by he changed it becomes him by him moving to what to the past continuous نفسها for example he was هنا برك يختلفوا في الverb it becomes he was driving the car حولنا فقط was verb to be in the past plus verb ing هذا هو past continuous الماضي المستمر نفس الشيء an action started in the past and still continuous ما زالت مستمرة in progress passive what do we say the car احنا نبدو بها the car نفس الشيء we bring the verb to be in past continuous نروح نجيبوا الفعل to be في past continuous I he she it you we they were being the car مادام عندنا the car نقول was being what driven past participle of the verb don't forget it driven by him here future simple المستقبل will هذه هي تبين انه الفعل مصرف في future will drive will plus verb stem هنا وش نديرو bring verb to be and we conjugate it in future simple it becomes the car نصرف الفعل to be في future the car will be هذا هو تصريف وسهل مع كم ضمائر I will be he will be كامل will be the car will be driven by him moving to another tense present perfect he has driven present perfect هو تصريف الفعل to have I have, you, we, they have, he, she, it has, plus past participle of the verb verb to be in present perfect. كيف نصرفوا verb to be in present perfect? With I, what do we say? I have been, past participle of the verb to be. You have been, they have been, we have been. With he, she, it, what do we say? Has been. هذا تصريف الفعل in present perfect وش من فعل verb to be. the car، مادام عندنا the car اللي هي it، نقولوا has been past participle of the verb to drive. نفسها ما ننساوش past participle للفعل drive اللي هو driven. has been driven by him. Moving to the past perfect في الماضي نفس الشيء with is the verb to have in the past واللي had. He had driven the car. يعني تغير برك الفعل have ولا في الباست had. When we start for example the passive we say the car. نروحوا نجيبوا الفعل to be in past perfect. كيف نصرفوا الverb to be in past perfect with all the pronouns كامل. نقولوا لهم had been مع كل ضمائر. had been the car had been driven past participle of the verb by him. Obligation have to or ought to. هذو كامل نسموهم modal verbs. He should drive the car. كيف هنحولوها؟ نقولوا the car سهلة مع the car should مش نحطوا بالك بعد should be نفصلوا بيناتهم. the car should be driven past participle by him. يعني only we add the verb to be after the modal verb plus the past participle of the verb driven. As I said here, it becomes me. For example, I drive the car. The car is driven by me. هي هنا شفنا المثال فما. She, for example, drives the car. The car is driven by her. نقولوا she. Her. لأنه راح نحولها المفعول به. We, for example, drive the car. The car is driven by us. And here it. تقعد كما مع it. They تولي them. You. Let's look to this activity. Activity 1. Choose the right verb in brackets. يعني الفعل اللي بين قوسين راح نختاروا فقط الفعل الصحيح. Robbery is serious problem. Something must be or is done. If you have must directly بعد هذو المودل verbs must, should, ought to الفعل يكون stand مستحيل يتصرف. يعني must be done هذا هو الفعل الصحيح be. Number 2. The thief has been or been caught by the police last Monday. by معناتها راهي في الأكتيف. نشوفوا الفعل نخيروا been or being. being هذه تشبه له present or past continuous. لما الverb to be يكون مصرف في present or past continuous بصح نشوفوا has مادام كاين verb to have in the present معناتها الفعل to have راه مصرف في present. اللي بعده شو حيكون verb or past participle of the verb be. ما نقدرش نقولوا being هذه خاصة يا present or past continuous. وإذا كانت past or present continuous لازم الفعل to be. هنا ما كانش verb to be كان verb to have. يعني نقولوا has been yesterday يعني لأنه yesterday تدل على الماضي. A huge amount of money has be or been كثير من المال has be or been. كيف هنا تشبه لهذه الجملة. يعني مادام كاين has نخيروا been past participle of the verb to be. Thieves' friends was or were called by the police. هنا مادام by it is passive. Look here the thieves' friends جمع نقولوا was or were مع الجمع هذه هي مع المفرد مع I he she it was you we they were. مادام كاينة في الجمع نخيروا directly were مباشرة were لأنه الجمع. the money was being recovered by to be هنا مكانش، يعني هنا was recovered هذا كامل هو ال verb to be in the past وال past participle تاع الفعل recovered. strict laws have been or be مباشرة بعد ما تشوفوا have ولا has أعرفوا باللي ال past participle تاع ال verb to be هو اللي يجي بعدها. been passed against thieves. has have بعدهم past participle of the verb.